This is Pamela Murphy with Extraordinary Life Coaching, and today we're going to talk about awareness, but there's more to come. And so when you have awareness, we sort of we have the awareness, like we know our triggers, we know our old patterns, we know all our old conditionings, right, from our parents and everything. So we know that. But what I finally realized is that I really hadn't given it the attention that it needed. I sort of have just like that thing we do, like I know, I see you, and I understand this pattern, but we keep moving on. We don't really address it. We don't go within. We try to do it from the external, right? We try to go from out to in, and it really doesn't work out the way we wanted to. So that was part of this journey. That was a lot of that what was coming up. So what basically it was that I have this old pattern, and it's like an onion. It's like this huge onion. And I really think that I've acknowledged it, and I know the self-awareness, but I didn't do the next step, which was to release it. So I've had this emotion roller coaster, I'm up, I'm down, I'm up and down. And it's because I really have never really released it. I didn't, it's a trigger, if somebody says something a certain way or something has to come to my attention, I think these things. So I'm going to give you a real life scenario. Had a situation at work, and there was a mistake, and it was pretty, to me, it was pretty major. But I wasn't really listening to my supervisor, who was telling me that, we just need to fix it and we got to figure out so this doesn't happen again. All I was listening to was my head, which was saying, how could you do that? How could you make this mistake like that? You know better. You should not have done that. And then the next words that came up in my head was, where you're not good enough. So what happens when we get the awareness, most of us stop. That's as far as we go. We don't go any further, because that means you have to go a little bit deeper. So in the deep, when I say go deeper, it's like peeling off another part of the onion, right? Because we start off peeling off little bit at a time, and that's all it is. Everything we do in our journey is a little bit at a time, one day at a time. Always try to stay in the present moment. So when this weekend, I actually had to sit with it and figure out, I wrote, why does this keep happening? I don't understand. I don't understand why first off, why am I making these as mistakes? I don't understand. And then everything else that came up was, I wrote about the fear, and what was the fear? And then what kept coming up was two things: the perfectionist and me not feeling that I'm good enough. And that's those triggers. And it just keeps coming up, because I knew the awareness was there, but I didn't really release it. So this weekend, I released a lot of it. I accept that there's no such thing as perfect. There's just no such thing. Nobody's perfect. So I truly now have accepted that. The other thing is, I am good enough, but because of what I was told for so long, or how my mind turned it into something more than maybe when it was. But this has been going on pretty much my whole life, right? So that's my pattern, and that's my trigger. If you have to come to me and show me something I did wrong, that's the end of the world. That also makes me understand why I always never really delegated things like I should have, because I just needed it to be right. And that way I could find my mistakes. Well, now I'm in a situation where somebody else has to review it, because we have to make sure things are right. And I took that, I took it personally, and I wasn't supposed to, but I did. And I know now that the trigger isn't the situation in front of us. It's what the situation activates within us. So when you have a trigger, and we all know our patterns. We know why we do what we do. We try to tell ourselves we don't, but let's be honest here. We know that why we do what we do. So when you acknowledge it and then you're aware of it, you can hold it down as long as you can, but it's going to keep coming up screaming and yelling because this keeps coming up. It's a repeating habit, and I feel like I put so much pressure on myself to be perfect. I put so much pressure on myself because I want to be seen that I am good enough. But if I'm not believing it, then how's it going to happen? So what happens since I don't believe it, it's not working out for me. We have to start, you have to let your feelings be what they are. So I did a lot of crying, and this is releasing. So one of the things that we've been taught, or at least I'm going to say me, because maybe, everything's different for everybody. But for me, crying was not allowed. I mean, I could cry, but then I'd be told I was a big baby and everything else. I'm very an emotional person. So I wear my emotions on my sleeves, but I cried a lot. I cried about a lot of things that were coming up. I cried about it, and then I wrote about it. And then I just sort of just sat quiet and didn't do anything, and just truly released a lot of that. I know it's going to come back up because it's a major part of my trigger, and it affects all our triggers affect all the areas of our life. It's not just with work, it's just with everything. So we become so disconnected that we can just keep pushing it away and say, well, I just don't have time to, I don't have time right now. I'm sorry. I hear you. I see you, but I just don't have time. So we need to actually take the time. And once you have the awareness, then you've got to go and release it. Because what happens when we don't release it, it's like surfing in Hawaii, those big waves. So you're up here, and then you sort of come down, 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 and then you even out for a while, but then you go back up, and then we just keep repeating that pattern over and over and over. And they say if you keep doing something over and over, that's like an insane thing to do. So my thing here is that I just want you to understand that the triggers we have, we need to address them. In the awareness, when they come up, when you start becoming aware of what triggers you and how it makes you feel, release it. Release it by writing, release it by having the emotional breakdown if you need to have it, but release it. Don't keep it in. Start a journal of all the things that you have. Just if you're not an emotional person, then you need to just write it down so you can start getting this out. So you can actually heal from within and step out into the out, not the other way around. We'll do it from here and try to go in, because it doesn't work. The other thing is just, this is to help you become your authentic self. That is what the journey within is about. It's coming back home to you, your authentic self, the best version of you that you forgot existed. The people that see you, sometimes people see you differently than you see yourself. And we beat ourselves up so much and put ourselves up on the cross so much because we want to be that. We just want to be that, but you already are. So just always remember to go within. And I think that it's just really important that when you want to start working on yourself, it's just to really start seeing your patterns and know that those patterns aren't working for you. That thing, we blame, right? We go to the blame game and all that. But at the end of the day, it's us holding ourselves back because we haven't released. I hadn't released my patterns, right? This thing keeps coming up, as rears its ugly head. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, seriously, can you just go away? And it's like laughing inside. No, because you need to release it and then I can go away, at least for a while until something else happens, right? So that's what it is. So it's like we went through the survival mode, right? And then we start just working through all the things that we've been taught right? To be strong, to do this, make sure that you're A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And we talked about it in previous videos. So we have to go through that. And then comes the awareness where you're like, wow, every time I hear this and something happens here, I go bonkers, or I just go down my rabbit hole. But then comes the then comes the releasing part where you release it. It's never going to go to that point where it never is going to happen again. You could go 10 years and it might not, then all of a sudden something will just pop up. And that's what it is. So I hope this resonates with you. And if it does, reach out, share, let everybody know, invite people to come here. It's just, I'm not about the pushy, telling you got to change your mindset, because I know that takes time. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in 6 months. It takes time. And I'm about taking the time to make sure that you become that version of yourself. You live your extraordinary life on your terms. You get to do your desires that you have, and you get to create the life that you want. But we can't create it if we just keep holding everything in. And I'm testifying to that. Like, I had to testify that, hey, this is like, wow, okay, I thought I was do really good. I'm doing really good. Well, my inner child said, you're so cute. No, that's not happening. So this is just always, just go through your emotions, feel it. And, don't try to go, if it gets too much, find somebody you can talk to, but it is like for me, it's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster ride. Cause some, even keel, then up, then down. So heal from within. Release. And when I say release, even when you're feeling it, sometimes you get that nervous, like anxiety and everything. You can put your hand on your heart or wherever you feel it at, and just take deep breaths. And take 3 to 4, deep breaths, inhale and exhale, and then tell yourself, I'm okay, I'm safe, and there's nothing I need to do, because there's nothing for us to fix. It's just coming home to yourself. Thank you for being here. This is Pamela Murphy with Extraordinary Life Coaching. If you like this, please subscribe and like, and have a great rest of your week. Bye.